pen felt heavier than it should have. My hands were shaking as I looked down at the papers on the table. Dense paragraphs, small print, and a signature line waiting for my name. "Just trust me, Emma," he said softly. "It's for our future." I wanted to believe him after all. He was my husband. The man who once held my face in his hands and promised me forever. But as I signed my name that day, something deep inside whispered a quiet, uneasy warning. This isn't love. This is surrender. Before continue, please subscribe our channel and like our video. My name is Emma Parker. And for most of my life, I believed in love the way children believe in fairy tales. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, where my parents ran a little grocery store. They worked hard, loved harder, and only argued about who left the porch light on. When I met Mark, I thought I had found the same kind of love. He was charming in a quiet, confident way, always well-dressed, well-spoken, and somehow he made everyone around him feel smaller, something I mistook for strength. We met at a charity event, and from that night on, he made me feel like I was the center of his world. He brought me coffee every morning, opened doors, and whispered things like, "I've never met anyone who makes me want to be better." Emma, it felt like a dream, a perfect one. A year later, he proposed under a maple tree near my parents' home. My mother cried. My father hugged him like a son. When we married, I moved into his big, glass-walled house outside the city, the kind with marble floors and echoing hallways, the kind of house you never really grow into. Mark handled the finances. I trusted him with everything. He used to say, "We're a team, Emma. What's mine is yours." What I didn't realize was that what's mine could also become his. I left my teaching job after the wedding because Mark insisted. "You've worked enough," he said. "You deserve to rest. I'll take care of you." It sounded sweet, until I realized it also meant dependency. The first crack appeared 3 years later. One morning, I found a letter from the bank addressed to me, a notice about a loan taken under both our names, a loan I had never signed. When I confronted Mark, he smiled calmly. "It's just business," he said. "You don't have to worry. I handled it." He kissed my forehead and walked away, leaving me with more questions than answers. From that day on, I started noticing little changes. Phone calls he took in private, documents he didn't want me to see, and a new safe in his office that I wasn't allowed to open. But the real betrayal came one afternoon when he said, "Emma, I need you to sign some paperwork. It's just for the company. Something about liability protection." He said it so casually that I didn't think twice. He placed the papers before me and handed me a pen. That day, I signed away my life without even knowing it. Weeks passed. Mark became distant, colder. The warmth in his voice vanished. He started spending nights at the office and weekends networking. Then one morning, I got a call from our accountant asking about the asset transfer. "Transfer?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "The one where all joint assets moved under Mr. Parker's name." My heart pounded as the phone slipped from my hand. That night, I tried to talk to him. He stayed calm, almost rehearsed. "Emma, don't make this dramatic. It's just paperwork. You're still my wife. You moved everything to your name, Mark. Because I'm protecting us. You wouldn't understand." The house felt colder after that, emptier. Every night, I sat on the balcony, wondering what I had done wrong, how the man who once promised forever had turned me into a ghost in my own home. A few months later, I saw him at a restaurant with someone else, a younger woman from his office. He didn't even look guilty. He just smiled and said, "You shouldn't have come here. Emma, this isn't a good look for you." That night, I packed my bag and went to my sister's. But peace didn't follow me there either. Letters started arriving, legal documents I didn't understand. Then one morning, my sister handed me a thick envelope. Inside were Dee's divorce papers, and a notice stating that the house, the cars, and even the savings account were all legally his. I had, without knowing, signed it all away. I went to see a lawyer. He studied the documents quietly for a long time before sighing. "Mrs. Parker," he said gently, "what you signed wasn't company paperwork. It was a full asset transfer. You signed over ownership of everything to your husband." My body went numb. I remembered that day, the way Mark smiled. The way he said, "Just trust me." I had trusted him so completely that I never imagined needing protection from him, but the lawyer wasn't finished. "There's something else," he said. "Your name isn't even on the property deed anymore. You have no legal claim." It felt like drowning, slowly and quietly. For days, I could barely eat, but in that emptiness, something else started to form, a kind of clarity. If love could be twisted into control, then maybe freedom could be rebuilt through truth. I decided not to beg, not to fight in anger. Instead, I began gathering every record I could find. Emails, tax returns, property receipts, even text messages where he mentioned our shared funds. My lawyer guided me patiently. He said, "We may not get everything back, but we can show the court that this was not informed consent." It was slow work, long days of paperwork, and quiet nights of remembering who I used to be. Mark called a few times, pretending to be kind. "Emma, let's not drag this out. I'll give you a small settlement. Just sign these and move on." I didn't answer. For the first time, I wasn't the woman he could manipulate. I wasn't the trusting wife signing blind. I was someone learning to stand alone. The day of the hearing, Mark walked in wearing his best suit. He smiled at me, confident, sure he'd win again. But when my lawyer presented the evidence, the texts, the forged signatures, the concealed documents, his smile slowly faded. The judge's words were clear. "The court finds that Mrs. Parker was deceived and coerced. All assets are to be restored to joint ownership pending further review." I didn't gloat. I didn't even look at him. I just closed my eyes and breathed. Mark looked smaller that day, not because of the ruling, but because his power over me was gone. He tried to approach me afterward, saying quietly, "Emma, we can fix this." I looked at him and said, "No, Mark, you can't fix what you broke by choice." Then I walked away. It's been 2 years since then. I live in a smaller house now. Nothing fancy, but it's filled with peace. I started teaching again, and I volunteer at a women's legal center, helping others understand what I once ignored. Never sign something you don't read, even if it comes from someone you love. Sometimes, I still think about the woman I was, the one who believed forever was a promise instead of a choice. Now, I know better. Forever isn't given, it's built, honestly, day by day, and trust, once broken, should never be signed back into someone's hands. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more calm, true-to-life stories that remind us that strength often begins with truth.